I've just returned from backpacking the Juan de Fuca trail. The Juan de Fuca is a beautifully rugged coastal hike hugging the west coast of Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada. The trail runs for 47 kilometers from China Beach in the south up to Botanical Beach just outside of Port Renfrew in the north. The trail twists and turns through old-growth forests, meanders across rocky beaches, sneaks past hidden waterfalls, and leaves you breathless with both the views of the ocean and the steep sets of wooden stairs nearly reclaimed by the forest floor. To get to the trail from Vancouver, I took the ferry from Tsawwassen Ferry Terminal to Schwartz Bay in Victoria. From there, it was about a 2-hour drive via a narrow, winding highway through the forest to get to Botanical Beach. About 5:30 in the morning, I just packed my backpack. Gonna go get in the car, drive to the ferry to go over to Vancouver Island to hike the Juan de Fuca for the next few days. Let's go. Started just shy of noon on Monday on the Juan de Fuca trail. It's about 47 kilometers and I'm hoping to be finished by Thursday morning and then catch the ferry back to Vancouver. But it's perfect weather. It's like 15 degrees outside and sunny. It's not supposed to rain until Wednesday, so fingers crossed. I always find there's something so magical about hiking on Vancouver Island. Coastal hiking in particular has an energy that just rejuvenates me and leaves me feeling so calm and refreshed, even after long, rugged miles of hiking over muddy roots and rocks. Must be something about the sound of crashing waves and the smell of the ocean. It's just the way it mixes together with the damp leaves and pine needles to create this perfume that's so rich I wish I could bottle it. I'm really falling in love with coastal hiking. To be this close to the forest and the ocean at the same time, it's pretty awesome. Part of the forest got kind of creepy and dark. All these like kind of dead trees. It's also very quiet. So we got just far enough away from the ocean that you can't really hear it anymore. I spent the first afternoon hiking the 14 kilometers to Little Kutch Creek, a wooded campground overlooking the ocean with a trail down to the beach below. I found a soft, flat piece of ground beneath the trees to pitch my tent for the night. The campgrounds along the trail are all equipped with pit toilets and bear boxes, and the toilets even had toilet paper and hand sanitizer, which was a pretty pleasant surprise. I'm brain dead. I'm hungry. I need to eat some food. But yeah, I'm just gonna hang out here and then continue on in the morning, bright and early, probably before sunrise. We'll see. And that's it. Cooking next to this little sea urchin that's just perched here on the rock. The view of the sunset over the ocean. Eventually.
Yeah, I just cleaned up camp. My first morning out here. So I'm gonna try and get to maybe Bear Beach. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. See how I feel. Got some pretty big climbs today, so.
The handful of kilometers to Sombrio Beach passed quickly and quietly, with only a few obstacles.
Cool little bridge coming up. Just past the 32 marker, so 32 kilometers left of the trail, which is not very much. This trail is passing very quickly. We're like a third of the way through already, nearly. But check it out. Ah, how cute. This is fun. It's really long. Oh, and the sunrise on the beach. Oh my God. Wow. I'll show you the other side. What is that little creature? Oh, it's an otter. I don't know if you can see it on video. Oh, look at him running around. Oh my God, it's so cute. Look at him. He's got a sea urchin. I'm gonna die. I just saw a little baby sea otter carrying a sea urchin up to the shore where he's gonna eat it for breakfast. So cute. Sea otters are my favorite animal, so that's why I'm being a baby. It's so cute. Like just waking up and being basically on the beach, but also in the forest is my favorite thing. It's so pretty. And this exposure is terrible. Come on, phone. There we go. Figure it out. It's so nice out here. It's so peaceful. I've only seen like 2 or 3 other hikers. It's awesome. Having a great time. I haven't done a lot of trail vlogging. I think it's largely because I've been in a bit of a weird headspace. I've also just been kind of bummed out for the last little bit. Post PCT was challenging, not just because it was post PCT, but a lot of things in my life got really weird and hard. And yeah, so now I'm feeling awesome. Not just today, just like in general, across the board. Things are going well. I'm feeling better. So, troubles are coming back. Oh, what's that pile of trash for? Why? Oh, I bet it just like washed up on shore. Is this where the trail still goes? I'm like vlogging and not paying attention, just lose the trail. Look how beautiful. I know it just looks like fog, but in real life, it's very pretty. It's like moody and it's great. Anyway, Juan de Fuca, y'all should try it. Would highly recommend. So I have actually been to Sombrio Beach once before, a couple of years ago. Came out to Souk to do some salmon fishing, and then came out here. And that is where I first learned about the Juan de Fuca trail. I went, I should come back and do this. And now here we are. White dots out there by the edge of that, I don't know, small peninsula. They're all birds. Let's zoom in. Look at them all. Look at all those birds. Ah, so cute. at the little otter paw prints. They're so cute. Look at them go. No, so cute. I found the secret waterfall. So right near East Sombrio Beach campsite, there's a little trail that follows a stream and it leads to a little waterfall. So I'll show you just a second. Here. Okay, but straight up, if you're doing this crop in beautiful places like this, you're trash. You're trash. Let's not fall down and film at the same time, but I'm obsessed. Look at this. How ridiculous. It's so nice. I can't handle it. I'm just having the absolute best time. Yeah, but like, just coasting along the ocean here. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so muddy. And there's a giant puddle I would like to not participate in. Sorry for all the shaking around. Alright, let's find our way out of here unscathed. That's the mission. Okay, that one wasn't so bad. No one died. I'm hiking on a ridgeline right now. After a pretty decent climb, which I haven't checked my map to see if that's like, if that's all it was or if there's more. I think there's probably more. But yeah, this little bit of ridgeline is really beautiful. It's a big ass climb to get up here, but it's beautiful. Ooh. Yeah, how cool. Yeah, you can see how out of breath I am. I just climbed like a bunch of ladders. Wow. This is so pretty. Aww. Another cool suspension bridge. Heck yeah. Ooh, the spiders have decided to try and make this their home. Sorry. Sorry. I don't want you in my face. So I think, based on how far we've gone, I think I just did the biggest climb of the whole trail, which, like, I thought it would be more obvious because it really was not like excessively challenging like the All Trails map made it look. And then there was like 1.5 kilometers of like basically flat once you got to the top, which was super nice. And then yeah, now I'm just like cruising downhill, feeling great. I think I've got 4 or 5 kilometers until Chin Beach, which I'm hoping to be there by like, I don't know, let's call it like 1:15, maybe 1:30. Eat some lunch, and then potentially, keep going to Bear Beach, or maybe there are a couple of campsites, maybe like 2 kilometers closer than that, so I might try that. We'll see. Well, I planned this a little bit poorly. Didn't take into account high tide for getting to the spot that I was hoping would be my midday lunch point. So of course I hit the beach crossing at exactly high tide, according to the chart. But honestly, that's okay. I got a little bit wet, kind of dodging the tide, but I think I can make it all the way. I think. We'll see. This section is safe, so maybe I just sit here and eat lunch, and then it's gonna start going down. So we'll see. It falls over. Alright. I made it to Chin Beach. It's only like 1:20 or something now, and I'm almost finished my lunch. So I think it's only like, so I'd be halfway if I go to Bear Beach. It's another like 12 kilometers. But I already did the hardest part of the trail, allegedly. Or like at least the biggest climb of the trail. It wasn't even bad. So I'm thinking that I'm just gonna go do that. But there are also a couple of other campsites that are like a kilometer or two closer, so I'll see if those are nice. If they have a bear box, then I'll probably camp there instead. But if they don't, then I'll have to go to Bear because I don't have a rope to hang my food bag. So, there you go. This part of the trail has a bunch of like fallen dead trees and stuff, so it looks crazy. They had to reroute it. So now it's just a landslide that looks flat. It's not, it's very steep. And then there's my rope so you can get yourself up. Love it. I was doing a really good job of vlogging all morning, and then I sat and had lunch, and then all of a sudden the trail got really hard. It's been like a lot of up and down, really steep, long climbs. And then went through this section, it was just like a total landslide because it's gotten really dry and dead in here, and everything is just falling down. So I had to reroute the trail a couple times. I'm climbing over dead trees, which I love, and then yeah, like sliding around on the mountain. It got hard. That's all. Damn. I guess I will not be going that way. Alright, I think this is my spot. Not the hanging rope. This spot. Yeah, it looks pretty sick. And I would wake up to this view. And I'm tired, so we're done. It's time you let your guard down. For someone like me, I'd say I'm settled and pretty calm. I don't storm in the storm. If not me, then someone like me that knows what to do and how to take care of you. But most of all, that deserves you. The sweetest red sheet. Have you ever seen a more beautiful dinner? I don't think so. Every dream. Angel goddess, you cover them all. Say, what can I do to get you to fall for someone like me? There's nothing like a good hot meal at the end of a really long hiking day. I got the lasagna with meat sauce today. It's doing it. It's doing it. The weather really started to feel like fall today. Like the leaves were changing and some of them were falling already. The wind was kind of blowing. It was a little crispy outside. It was nice. I really took that equinox seriously. I'm in a bit of a hiking stupor. You know, when you hike a really long day and you're just depleted and your brain kind of stops working. Or maybe that's just me. That he deserves you. yeah, basically that's all she wrote. Night 2 on the Juan de Fuca. Still a little bit light out, but I'm beat. So I'm gonna go get in my tent, probably write in my journal for a minute, take a baby wipe bath, and go to sleep. So there you go. Good night. One of the really cool things about these campgrounds is that they each have a pit toilet and a bear vault. And the pit toilets thus far have had hand sanitizer and toilet paper and have been totally clean. So I took that as a win.
Well, I totally lucked out this morning and it stopped raining perfectly in time for me to take down my tent and to eat a little bit of breakfast. Although the breakfast spot is totally shaded by big trees, which is really nice. It's a classic oatmeal and coffee kind of day. And then it's less than 10 kilometers to the finish. I think this has been one of my favorite hikes I've ever done. Like the distance, it's really doable in like, 2, 3, 4 days if you want to stretch it. The terrain is challenging but entertaining. The views are spectacular. At least, this late in the season there's hardly anyone out here, so campsites were easy to find. And it's so peaceful. There's something about hiking right next to the ocean that is just so calming. Tiny bit of product placement. The coffee that I typically use, Alpine Start, the company sent me a big old box of all kinds of different coffee, which was awesome. And now I get to use them on trail all the time, so I thought I'd give them a little shout out because they sent me a bunch of free stuff. And it's the coffee I use anyway, so it's really handy. And I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't use it. This is my oatmeal, delicious. I'm gonna start my coffee. I think drinking coffee on trail is literally one of my favorite parts.
And we're on the road again. Sprinkling a little, but not bad. And we're walking on the beach this morning. For about 1 kilometer, and then it cuts in for a bit. Another beautiful day on the coast. Look at all this seaweed. Ew. I think the walking on the beach is like the hardest part. It's all rocks. Good ankle workout though. But it does take a little bit of time to pick through all of the wet rocks and not die. Are you having a great time watching me climb over rocks? I bet. Yeah. Oh, look at all these seagulls out here. I don't know if half this stuff comes out. I don't know. It's hard to tell on my tiny phone screen until I get it on my computer. But I got all the birds. Not many birds. And it's funny, I was having this thought that like, oh, if anyone saw me out here doing all this weird stuff, they'd think I was crazy. But then I take all of this stuff and I put it on the internet. So who's crazy now? It's still me. Anyway, that was my walking in the rain thought for today. thought I would share. This is cool. Sad. We have 8 kilometers left of this trail. This is a pretty cool bridge. We've got that giant log. This huge tree fell over. So I just made it into a bridge. One last kilometer. It's our last big suspension bridge of the trip. Almost to the end of this trail. Truly, like, can't stop smiling. This was such a fun trip. And it's so beautiful out here. Now my only hurdle is to try and figure out how to get back to my car at Port Renfrew. I'm hoping to snag a hitch. We'll see. And that's a wrap. I did it in 47 hours.
For this trail, you're meant to fill out a backcountry permit for camping along the beach on the trail. I forgot to fill mine out at the beginning of the trail, so I'm putting $20 cash, because it's $10 a night, into the envelope and into the deposit box.
Okay, I did it. Did the whole thing. It was excellent. Yeah, highly recommend. I'll see if I can get myself back to my car. Haha.
Where there's this big kind of like grassy cliffs and
The only time I've ever been to Souk was to go salmon fishing.
oh cool.
And that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got like the second or third car that passed me, and it took me halfway. I'm at Sombrio Beach, and now I just have to grab a second hitch to Port Renfrew. And we'll see how that goes. It's not raining anymore, so that's cool. It's actually turned out to be a pretty beautiful day. Yeah. And it's only like noon, so I got loads of time. I can grab lunch, get back to the ferry, and get back to Vancouver sometime this evening. It's perfect. I made it back to my car. 2 hitches, both super nice people. The guy I just got a hitch with blew past me on the way out and then felt bad, so he turned around and came and picked me up and dropped me all the way back to my car. That was super nice. Turns out he's a fellow burner. Yeah, now I'm gonna go grab lunch and get on the ferry and head back home. I'm in my car, driving back to the ferry. Everything literally worked out perfectly. I got 2 hitches from like the nicest people who like weirdly similar to me, which was great. Like one works in film, the other dude's like an old school burner. And then I stopped and got a coffee, and I got this cool hat because it was like, it's really soft and it's like, you know, local and whatever. And yeah, now I'm just driving back to the ferry. I'll probably grab lunch and then get back home. And I'm just having the greatest time. Like, I don't know. You ever just feel high on life? Like the universe is Team Lauren? That's how it feels today. I don't know. Having a great day. Anyway, yeah, that's basically the end of the trip. It was incredible.
That's all I got. I had so much fun, and I can't wait to like share all of this adventure with all y'all, because it was great, and I can't wait for you to see it. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Have a lovely day. Bye.